Hello YouTube. Alright, today we're going to have a RAM upgrade for my main computer. And this is what I'm upgrading from. I have 8 gigs of this Corsair Vengeance stuff in here that has the rather gigantic heatsinks on it. And I used to have 16 gigs in here until of these 8 gig kits. I had 2 of them in there until I upgraded my cooler, which got in the way of these gigantic heatsinks. So what I'm doing is upgrading to 2 8 gig sticks of low profile RAM. As you can see, the heatsinks aren't gigantic, they're just regular size. So there you have it. The Vengeance LP stands for low profile. So let's take the old RAM out of here and I'll show you. We'll just make a comparison. Wow, blurry and dusty. Alright. Now, the 16 gig kit is a little bit slower than the 8 gig kit. The RAM speed is the same. They're both 1600, but the timings on the new RAM is 10, 10, 10, 27, and this stuff is 9, 9, 9, 24. So the timings are a little bit different. The RAM will probably be a tad slower, but really not slow enough to really notice. I mean, I've used really slow RAM in the past, so it's never been an issue. Alright, so let's get this Corsair stuff. You can see how big this stuff is. It just gets right in the way. It's good RAM. It just gets in the way. See, look how tall that is. It's ridiculous. Let's get the other stick out here, too. And since I'll have 2 8 gig sticks, this will leave me to upgrade to 32 gigs of RAM if I wanted to, which I don't think I'll be doing anytime soon. Hopefully this RAM kit is still available by the time I do, which, I don't know. I might do it just for shits and giggles one day. So let me open this up, and we can take a look at the new RAM. Alright, here's the new stuff. Compare it with the old stuff. Yeah. There it is on top. That heatsink just sticks up and gets right in the way. Now the main difference between these two types of RAM is this. This is the old RAM. It's 99924 1600 megahertz RAM, and this is the new RAM, which, as you can see down there, is 10, 10, 10, 27 1600 megahertz RAM. So it's a little bit different, but I don't think the performance loss will really be all that much. I mean, I might lose a little bit of performance, but cache latency I don't think really is that big a deal for how I use my computer. I mean, I don't really tax the RAM all that much with what I do, so I don't think it's really going to push the limits of it too hard, because it's a daily use computer. I mean, I do all my videos on this computer as well, but, you know, there you have it. So I'll put the RAM in. And the RAM is installed there, as you can see, and it actually fits behind the cooler here. So, much better choice of RAM, I'd say, for a computer like this, where the cooler just gets in the way like that. But it was more the RAM that was in the way. So I'll put this RAM back in its box over here. Save it for another build or something, probably. And there you have it. So we'll turn on the computer and make sure it recognizes it and get all the timings right and whatever. One thing I should mention is the reason I got this particular RAM instead of getting, you know, faster RAM is because the price. This was on sale on Newegg. Well, it had an $18 discount on it with a promo code. This kit is normally like $84. I got this for $66. And 8 gig kits normally go for $50. So the price was just too good to pass up. The price was there, so I went for it. And hopefully, even if the price is high again, I can still get this kit again in the future, because I'll probably up this to 32 and just leave it there, because that's its max. So, let's put the side panel back on and we'll test this thing out. Alright, let's start this up and check it out. I'm tethered to a cord right now, so excuse all the tetheredness. Alright, let's get into button into the BIOS here. I think this should have enough battery to last. Let me unplug this here. There we go. Alright, let's Make sure it sees the memory the way it should be. Alright, the memory frequency is 1600. That's good. Ten, 27. Alright, it sees it just the way it should. Excellent. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So, let's boot up Windows. See what it says. Alright. Logging in. Logging in. Logging in. Logging in. There go all the system tray icons. Yeah, I really noticed no performance change at all so far, which is a good thing, because the RAM is supposed to perform exactly the same, except the timings be a little bit slower. Of course, it's a little bit slow on first boot because it's just mashing the hard drive. So, gotta wait for this thing to catch up with itself. There we go. There we go. 16 gigs of RAM, back to the way it was. Only, it's with two 8 gig sticks instead of 4 gig sticks like it was before. So, excellent. Absolutely excellent. Not much of an exciting upgrade, but, you know, there you go. You know what we should do? We should check the Windows Experience Index. Let's see what the memory was. The memory was 7.9. Let's see if it changed at all due to the timing change. It might go down 0.1 or so. That'd be my guess. I'm really not sure. Yeah, it went down to 7.8, so I lost like the slightest bit of performance, but it's still on par with the processor, which is what matters. So, yeah, the memory is very close to the processor. It's not below the processor, which is what I was concerned about, so this RAM upgrade is fine. It's really not going to affect performance all that much if it's just 0.1 difference. So, there you have it, folks. That's a RAM upgrade for my main machine. A little bit of a shorty there, but I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one, everybody. Ciao.